I've been suffering through the People's Convoy, and this is Matt Landis, kind of the founder of the American branch of this convoy movement. And this is his speech, and let me just spare you the suffering. The logic is Biden used the emergency parts of the Constitution. Therefore, the Constitution is gone. Just the dumbest logic you can imagine. If anything nullifies the Constitution, it's the fact that we're not enforcing the 14th Amendment and standing up to the insurrectionists. The last 2 days they've been at this place that sells tractors in Indiana. They started off with a lot of fireworks that are probably the illegal kind, which raised a lot of concern because now they have blasting caps. They're showing that, and they're potentially somewhere where they could get their hands on some fertilizer. A lot of these speeches were centered around this flag, if you can even believe the founders and leaders of this movement, which I don't at all. This flag was from someone in World War II who fought the Germans. I'm sure this soldier would be real proud of his flag being flown for the group of people who stand up for the right to be a Nazi. Quite literally the closest thing to a new Nazi movement we've ever seen in the modern Republican Party. I'm sure he'd be real proud. Now, a lot of the speeches were centered around freedom. Just kind of funny because this is the far right who are removing our most important freedom, our freedom to vote. Every speech is just filled with huge amounts of logical fallacies, like freedom doesn't come at the end of the needle. Like, who said that was the case? We didn't expect the vaccine to give us more freedom, you bunch of morons. This lady here was probably the most radical, believes in all the fake pedophilia stories, when the biggest group of pedophiles we know is the Catholic Church. And they're not Democrats. Quite frankly, I think half this lady's stories were straight up lies. And the leadership also announced that they're not going to Washington, D.C. You probably already noticed that they didn't make it to the State of the Union. What an embarrassment. The people here, most of them seem pretty nice and everything in the interviews. Just sad that they got sucked into something so horrible, part of a movement that killed almost 1 million Americans. Let's hope this dog is a bomb-sniffing dog here. Although they're somewhere where they could maybe get their hands on fertilizer, and they obviously have those kind of blasting cap capabilities. I haven't seen the presence of, the people I'm looking for here. But as far as the leadership, this movement, I wish nothing but the worst for them. They're terrorists, they're part of something that supports Nazis. They're part of something that killed so many Americans. And their funding probably comes from Russia. They might have lost their funding